All right, family. All right. All right. All right. What's going on this morning? June 14th in the year 2025. How are we doing today, family? Excuse me one moment while I just set up something here because it's part of the conversation that we're going to have today. Sowing and reaping, family. This is where part of the conversation is going to be today. Your boy's kind of going to talk off the top today because it's going to be centered around, again, work. But your boy's going to talk off the top today a little bit because the work we're talking about, the labor that will be put in today on the 14th, is centered around the environment. If y'all hear some noise in the background, it's thunderstorming where we are. Again, this that time of year, family. I don't, for some, they got a problem with the rain. For me, I do not. Right. This is part of life. The earth. Everybody complains, especially when you're in these plain states. They complain about. And again, there's nothing against complaining, but again, we always say complain to an aim. Right? That's kind of the point. Because sometimes that thing can just go from that to something unhealthy, right? And in this case, the rain, we complain about the rain, family, but the earth needs it. Okay? The earth needs it. Coming from the sky, right? Coming from the atmosphere, again, as part of the Bible. I mean, again, this may rattle some people's brains, but we're just going to play with it anyway, because I like doing that, right? Again, it's about shaking the status quo. This idea that you read in Genesis about the firmaments, right? This is where the rain, part of this, right, is where the rain, it's the word they used. Coming from the sky, family, right? That's something that comes from the ground. What a blessed cycle that is, right? And then raining down upon us. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Right? Kirk Franklin back in the day made a song called Rain on Me, right? Or Rain Down on Me. Okay. And actually, I think it's Melodies from Heaven, actually, is the name of the song. But in it, they repeat the phrase, rain down on me, right? So, again, speaking from a spiritual base, but still at the same time, this is the natural, this is where it's coming from, family. You're watching what happens that we use, quote unquote, in a spiritual sense. With that said, welcome in us who are almost 1,300 plus strong, who believe in, who love on, who think about, who consider, who ponder, who have fun and enjoy, right? Who seek after, hunger and thirst for that which is a different view. Family, welcome in. Again, today's topic is going to be based around no kings, family. That's the protest that's going to be going on today. For those who will hear this and for protests that will come. Because let's be honest, when you look through the lens of history, you know that masses' actions normally have a negative effect when it comes to the people. Right? It's normally not set up for the people. Kings, since it's called No King's Day, very apropos, family. Pay attention. See, so we talk about words and phrases, but time periods of history. When they do, for those who like ballet and they go to dance and they do these art pieces about history, dance recitals and such about history. Things like Hamlet, stuff like the Odyssey, right? We want to pay attention to again, art imitates life, family. So there's certain things that we want to pay attention to. When you're talking about kings, really we could go back toward Bible days with different kings, but we'll keep it 100 because again, sometimes we spookify things, and this is not to be spooky. This is to be educational, okay? Even on some things that may deal in the spiritual realm. And in this case, when you're talking about kings, family, there are those kings who judge fairly. Come on now, somebody. Right? There are those kings who judge unfairly. Okay? In the story of Robin Hood, you deal with a certain king there who could care less about the people in the town, right? I think it's Nottingway, or I forget, Nottingham. I forget the name of the town or the forest in which Robin Hood and his merry band of rebels, right? That's what they are, right? Shout out to the rebels watching Andor here, family. We got to say this. We got to pause here to say this. To those who are the rebels against the empire, you got to be banded together. Okay? You watch this TV show, and again, you understand, you see like this to fund get money for the rebellion, right? Mon Mothma. Shout out to our Star Wars fans one time, right? Because this is gonna help us explain what's going on today with this protest and protests that have happened and protests that will happen. Okay? Truly, as they have put in the law while they talk about things that are illegal, people do have the ability, aka the right. Let's just do this here in real time, because we want to put to bed certain mess, family, okay? We want to put to bed certain stuff here. Right, according to Oxford's dictionary, okay? As an adjective, morally good, justified, or acceptable, okay? True or correct as fact. As an adverb, again, describing action. This is what we're told when we study linguistics, right? Adverb means how you describe an action. To the furthest or most complete extent or degree, correctly, like he guessed right, okay? To that which is morally correct, just, or honorable. This is as a noun, we're saying. So again, number one, that which is morally correct, just, or honorable. See, moral keeps coming up in this. Very interesting, right? A moral or legal entitlement to have in him we move, live, and have our being. Somewhere along the line, you could say king, we could say massa, you could say the establishment, the man, right? Shout out to Becky Lynch. But in this case, when you're talking about the man, it's not talking about where a woman has a place in a man's world, because they do. And technically, it's not a man's world. It's just in the world. But I digress. This idea, the man, we talking like the sick code and system. There's another word that black folks use that deals with this environment that has been created on top of the one that was already there. And this is where the subject comes in. This is where the heart of the matter comes in. People having a problem with folks who were already here. It's not even really that complicated, family. We could technically stop right there. But we're going to continue just to add some context, okay? A moral or legal entitlement to have or obtain something, or to act in a certain way. Some of the words, synonyms that go along with this, okay, we got entitlement. We understand when we talk about entitlement, normally we talk about our so-called white brothers and sisters. However, each people group has an entitlement. Come on now, somebody. See, again, we're talking about a codified set of laws that was written by humans on top of the code of laws set down by the maker that was already here. And when greed is at work, no different than the serpent in the Garden of Eden, no different than the devil talking with Jesus. We're talking now for our Christian brothers and sisters who like to do a good holy dance. You like to do a good holiness movement, hokey pokey dance. 1 foot in and 1 foot out when it comes to this kind of conversation. But this is it, family. There was we have said this before. We're going to say it again. There is a reason why the Christian was put into the gladiator arena. Right? There's a reason when you look back at 0 AD, all the way through like 1000 AD, that whole time period, the persecution of Christians for his name's sake. And who is protected under his namesake are the people of which the Maker made. We're missing the heart of a matter, family. And it's the reason why these people are protesting today. Don't get it twisted. Entitlement is one of those words. Prerogative is another one. Privilege. Again, each people group has a privilege. It's unfortunate that one group, this is on top of the infighting in between other groups. We're talking about it's unfortunate that one group decided to take that infighting in which they had within themselves. When you look from 0 AD through 1000 and even the 1100s, right? AD, CE, as some people will say. And then you bring this over. See, again, history, one of the people activities, right, that we talk about with Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. and Dr. Cress Welsing, Francis Cress Welsing, is education. You do not control your education. The so-called white person controls your education. As a result, there's certain things you don't know. This month, one of the highlights in this month is Caribbean Heritage Month. They like to put the word American in there. Again, Caribbean Heritage Month, okay? And as a result, again, we like to USify everything because, again, it's about ownership. This is not about creditation. It's not about proper creditation. It's about owning things, acquiring things, like the people groups and the lands on the islands in which these people live. Let's look at the Caribbean for a moment. We'll just stop here for 2 seconds while we're talking no kings, family. And again, this is normally where the long arm of the law comes out. Come on, somebody. We got to understand the climate in which we live in, especially for our young people. Shout out for our young people on the podcast. You got to understand the climate in which you live. This is about the haves and the have-nots. It was unfortunate. And see, I don't even blame, can we, since this on Father's Day weekend, right? I don't even blame the parents to an extent. Train your child in the way they should go. Do you know one of the ways they're going to go? They're going to walk on these choppy waters of racism and extreme prejudice in this life. That's what they're going to walk on. It is our responsibility as fathers, stepfathers, uncles, guardians, I don't care what title they give you. If you have some level of impartation into a person's life, if you are giving knowledge and understanding into someone's life, how many different times we got to see it in the Bible, the Apocrypha, it doesn't matter where the father has to be to the fatherless and the blessing that is involved in those who get involved in those who do not have different parents in their life. We got to stop hiding behind certain things, family. And one of the things you impart to these young minds, both male and female, or whether they identify with either male or female, there are certain baseline rules in life. And you know what one of them is? When you go out there in that world, they're going to attack you because they just don't like you. Don't matter what it is. They just don't like you. And you got to protect yourself against that. We're talking about to the point of harming, hurting, killing you, messing with your life, messing with your money, messing with your mind. Shout out to different people groups, right, who accentuate, who think on, who highlight the idea of protecting your mind. Because this is this love, life, godliness, wholesomeness. These are the things that uphold you in the time of such sick mess that we live in today, that was set up by those who are greedy. You got to say it that way. This is what it is. It wasn't set up by just some willy-nilly person, just, Francis, since everybody's new witch hunt is the homosexual and the transgender, this thing wasn't set up by them, family. This was set up by people who were greedy, who want to control everything down to who you screw with, literally. But that is not your decision to make. That is up to the Maker, who is already codified in this life all of the different interactions that we will have. It has certain results to it. We put more stress on ourselves trying to police humanity than just living life. I just had to stop there for a second, man. The different nations in the Caribbean. let's get back. Let's get back on it. Do we know, family? Do you know? We live so much America. Do we even know the islands of America? I think as far as it'll go, we'll probably say something like Long Island. That's the only island, man. Yeah. St. Martin, Barbuda, Antigua, right? You know about St. Andrews, right? We know about the different places that we go a lot. Norman Island, right? The Bahamas, Cozumel, right? The Carib, Hispaniola, Jamaica, Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, that means rich port. Boricua, right? And the Borican people and the Taino people. Cuba. You got the Dominican Republic out there. Do you know the places that occupy the see Europe, talking about moral and legal entitlement? Who were the people? When we say occupy, we talking just like military occupation. We talking about came and took. Probably under the same guise of things like we trying to provide protections for these people. Sounds like some Gestapo mess. Some gang activity. To our black brothers and sisters, gang activity don't get you nowhere but an early grave. You're following after so-called white people. The bully coon out there. What are we doing? Somebody got bit by the vampire, man. I tell you what, that movie Sinners, man, I tell you what, somebody got bit by the vampire for sure, for sure. Spain was one of these European nations. That runs deep, man. Do you know how much Spain's involvement is over in the Americas? Again, an Eastern nation invading a Western people. And I don't know if I did this or not. I didn't, and in classic fashion. You got to kill the sound. My apologies, y'all. England, of course. England had some stuff here. Our Jamaican, Bahamian, and Barbados brothers and sisters know a little something about England's involvement in the slavery that incurred incurred as a result of their involvement. France. Shout out Haiti, Haiti. Our Haitian brothers and sisters one time. Shout y'all out, man. Guadeloupe, Martinique. Right? For sugar. There's sugar cane. The plantations. God, y'all go study it. Go study the involvement of France. While we will all hail Napoleon, they made a movie. I didn't even go watch the movie. Why do I want to go watch the involvement in the mind of somebody who was okay hurting and harming people? Why would I want to see that? For what purpose? We done seen enough of it. Again, they're having a protest today because people are mean toward people. Downright mean toward. There's no other way you can say it, family. I posted up something on the podcast Facebook page today of an involvement with our native brothers and sisters. Shout out to the various tribes, recognized and unrecognized, of the native nation, the Aboriginal, the indigenous people who lived here in the Americas, of varying skin tone, by the way. Right? So much so when the invader, aka the colonizer or the explorer, got around the Yamasee tribe, we have read it. We have read the article to you. Dark skin tone. Damn near black is what they didn't say. Damn near. I'm putting that in there. just for the fun of it. Black, because that's what the dark skin tone looks like. The real dark one. You know, like the dark pirate that was in Pirates of the Caribbean, that brother there, you know. Elizabeth Swann trying to leave, right? Or not trying to leave. They made her walk the plank, right? Shout out to the pirate life one time. Again, another group of rebels. Oh, they're stealing for people. Yeah, we know. We know where it goes in the mind, family. Again, if you won't do right toward people, what do you think is going to occur? There's already a codified set of rules. And when you break them, this is what happens. This for that, right? That was a song back in the day. You could get with this or you could get with that. Right? The Netherlands. It's another group out in the Carib. Shout out to the Carib people, right? Again, we're talking groups of people that are unrecognized, family. No wonder it's easy to really cart them off to somewhere else. See, this gets to the heart of the matter. They're the drug dealer. The Mexican is the drug dealer. The Mexican. Man, you talk about the pot calling the kettle black. I don't even know. They won't even deal. And it's funny that today, I think it's happening on Donald Trump's 79th birthday, I believe. I think today is his birthday. 79 years old. Can we get any leaders? And we had already seen it with what's his name? JD Vance. So we know what it's like for the 40-year-old, of which I'm part of, right? And a lot of us here on the podcast, this is how a lot of them think. You have folks, same color tone as you, you're going to talk them down right in the Oval Office. Entitlement. That's how you use it. The Dutch established their presence. The Dutch, the Netherlands. That's another group that was involved in the occupation of the Caribbean. We're talking Caribbean Heritage Month right now. This is who they had to deal with. Curacao, Aruba, right? We know that they didn't put that song in. I think Bermuda, Bahama, Come On Baby Mama, Key Largo, right? This is the song, ain't it? You singing about America. Oh, America the beautiful. That's what you're singing about. Family, we have to be able to talk about the real that has gone on in this life. Playing this game of we don't talk about Bruno, shout out to our Latin brothers and sisters, ain't gonna do us no good. As we read to y'all before in the Apocrypha, it does not, dealing with a lie, family, it does not give you benefit. It's not beneficial. And clearly, dealing in the lie, family, of how we treat people who are already here. Already here. That video that I posted up on the page there, family, y'all can go take a look at it. A native woman is stopped by some police, some border police. You watch this, man. Stop listening to Massa telling you to go hurt people. Come on now, somebody. This is the same thing in the police. You want to talk about protect and serve. Before we even get to that conversation, you got to think about who you're protecting and who you are serving. And this is the part where the degradation and the discrediting shows up. This is why neighborhood watches need to listen. Y'all know each other in the neighborhood. Stop calling the police for a lot of this stuff. It's time that we start handling it like we used to. We're not talking about no beating up people and all this kind of weird. We're talking about with the men in the neighborhood. I understand, right? Because this is another topic that ties in. Again, what happens in the home comes out in the street. I know brothers are trying to get away from the sisters. Again, most of them are pissed off because of how men, in this case, when we're talking about brothers and sisters, we're talking about black folks, how the brothers have treated the women. Then sit back and say how no good and shiftless the woman is. See, there are certain things by which the strong, again, your Bible tells you how the strong man comes in your house. These are the ways by which the so-called strong man, has come in the home, breaking it apart. And it starts when we break it apart. Do we hold family building to a high level? See, again, somebody told you that family building has to only be a certain way. And while there are levels to this, I will not discredit that. While there are levels to this, love and justice and peace and respect and honor, those things are still alive and well today. And we show them by holding on to the idea of family. That's what you've been given when you was birthed in this planet. Whether the man was a sperm donor or the woman was just an egg recipient, okay? No matter which way it is, and we're not laughing at the scenarios where you got deadbeat dads and mothers. We're not talking about that, okay? Again, these things connect, family. This ain't no this over here and that over there. Nah, they're more connected than what you think. The Netherlands. Here's some other groups that was involved. Portugal. They laid claim to Barbados for a little bit. Denmark and Norway, or Denmark/Denmark. The Virgin Islands. Shout out the Virgin Islands one time, right? Do you know who they sold the islands to? There's a reason why it says U.S. Virgin Islands, family. Who owns them? Europe 2.0. That's who owns them. Owns them? You own them? How you owning people? Didn't we abolish that? No, KJ, that's something else. Oh, it is? Of course, Sweden. Sweden had their hand in this thing a little bit, Mr. Neutral. But that was so long ago, KJ. That was in the 1700s. What does that matter? We're talking about what's in the heart and the mind of people. You think that just went away in the 1700s? You think people don't think like that still? About the island of St. Barthélemy. Again, family, these are all things you can look up online. Do you know how dulled our mind is, family? We don't even care about this kind of stuff. Let's say it again. For those young people, normally we know young people lead the charge. This is stuff we have seen before in the 60s and the 70s. We have talked about the red hot summer of 69 on this podcast before. We're talking about racially charged riots all across, or culturally, people group driven riots all across this land. You can look it up. It's sad, family. People refusing to live together, and that thing is started by one group of people. This is why we say it to our black, brown, tan skin tone folks. Again, as Benjamin Franklin called them, tawny, right? To the brown and these tan skin, that's the word used, tawny. It's time that we let a lot of this mess go. It's unhealthy. It's unbeneficial. You got innocent people dying. They're bringing the military out on this. Do you know, military brothers and sisters, again, when this thing gets really bad, family, look at some of the revolutions. You're talking about sending these people to die. Again, like we said about the military, it's older white men telling the younger white men who to shoot. Be careful out there, family. Right? They're not playing around. They want you a certain way. And when you stand up for yourself, they're willing to put you down. This is how this works. Listen, we're talking from I'm not speaking from conjecture. I'm not speaking from conspiracy. I'm not speaking from my opinion. I'm talking about what happened in history. You got governments who come in and occupy that which is not theirs. They tell the people what to do, that which is not theirs to do with. Because they're not operating in justice and kindness. They transposed it for greed and taking possession. No different than King David with Uriah's wife. Where is the preacher? Where is the teacher? Where is the mission? See, we want to talk about the fivefold ministry. Where is the missionary who would teach people the wholeness of the gospel that would set them free? See, this is why I can't. There is a part of me now, right, where I just will not deal with the blasé Christian. Because this mess is wrong, family. We're reading verses in the Bible. James is telling you, have no respecter of persons, because when you do, it is sin. That's the half brother of Jesus. What are we missing here? I'll tell you, it's when greed comes in. It's when possessions, taking possessions, things that are not yours, no different than the sin in the battle of Ai. We can get all on this whole thing in the Old Testament about who was taking black cities and all that kind of thing. Look at the stories and pull some of that first before you go there. We get it. We get it to the part of the community, the black part of the community. We get it. But you look at these stories and these analogies, family, stop touching that which is not yours. Holy or unholy. Don't touch it. When you do, there is a curse that's brought. This is not me saying this. We're reading the source material. You know, the same thing people have a problem doing Star Wars and DC movies with. They just won't go to the source material. We'll see how this Superman movie work. But again, the pattern has been shown when it comes to DC stuff, regardless of what everybody's saying, they don't give a damn about the source material. You got a whole lot there you could talk on. They make these weird. In the 80s, this was no problem. All of a sudden, come up to the 2000s now, we don't know how to talk about it no more. That's done by design, family, huh? Let's stop the hoax. But you will still go, and I will go. We still go to the movie theater now. This is what we mean about with sports and stuff. If y'all are mad at how the Knicks lost, or how the OKC Thunder is losing right now, right? Or how the Chicago Bulls operate since the Jordan era and all that. Stop watching. They feel your stuff when it hits their pocket. We see people doing this thing with Target lately. I wasn't going to talk about it, but it's apropos for right now, where they're sitting there and they're boycotting it because of this DEI thing. Again, a lot of times I don't talk a lot about stuff that's going on because, family, the playbook has already been played out, okay? It just depends on where people are going to. Again, the world's a stage. So it just depends on which side of this thing you fall on. It's the haves and the have-nots, y'all. That's how this works. Right? Of course, homeboy is going to talk about DEI and all this stuff. Of course, President Trump would talk it down. That's the point. That's what they do. I mean, come on here. They don't want Negroes here. Abraham Lincoln, who set them free, told them to get the hell out of here. Okay, man, they don't care. That's just the reality. That goes for our Asian brothers and sisters. That goes for our Hispanic brothers and sisters. Again, we're saying Hispanic. That deals with Spain. That's not even these people. That's what Spain called them. Or when we try to talk about our Spanish brothers, you're saying Spain. Spanish is Spain folk. Come on, y'all. Latin, right? We say Latin people for Spanish folks. Listen to the verbiage. This is why when we talk about Puerto Rico, we try to we at least try over here, family. The Taino people, the Boricun, right? Boricuas. There's a reason why we say certain things, family. There's names of tribes of folks they refuse to recognize. They're telling them the name and they're telling them, no, you ain't from here. They right there. They're right there in front of them. They ain't from here. That's how bad the deception is in their mind, family. They don't want to accept it. And Melanesian people over in Australia, they was already there. Dark skin tone, whether you got the folks that have this anomaly where they got the blue eyes and the blonde hair, they're already there. Right? It's time we start studying ourselves. It's time we really start studying ourselves like we do cat videos and all that kind of stuff. We're just saying what it is. And we're all subjected to this. I'm not talking down to anybody. We're just talking the truth of the thing. This is why they're able to mess with you on the job. People are not, listen, this is why they're able to mess with you on the job, family. They know that we are two-stepping out here a little too much. We got to get really convicted about a thing. And it has a certain end to it. They mean to do you harm. Listen, they mean to do you harm. People talk a lot of this stuff. They take the stuff down off of social media pages. They don't encourage it, family. Come on. We all know. Right? Again, what is this for? Is this for the people or is this for the possessions? Which one is it? And in many of these cases, they turn the people into possessions, like chattel slavery, so on and so forth. Like we talked to y'all about a while ago, I believe it was around Easter time. Christ talking to these people. Is this to do? And again, the chief priests, scribes, Pharisees, Sadducees. This was the conversation Jesus had with these. It was them. As much as he talked with his disciples, aka his students. Okay. There was also conversation with these other fools. And normally it was right about the time when they came bringing, as the Bible tells you, questions to trap him, things to trick him, because they already know. These folks coming around holier than thou, man, they already know. Ain't none righteous, no, not one. So when you have that conversation, you have to have it from a certain place. I could talk to you about in James, right? Chapter 2. So you don't commit adultery, but you killed somebody. You still committed, you're still wrong. Okay? You didn't lie on this person, but you lied on that family member. You're still wrong. There are certain things we're unwilling to accept, family, and trying to live around it, and it don't work because it's already a codified way this thing works. Then we get mad at God like it's God's fault. It's God's fault? You didn't create the game. I didn't create the game. We're living in it. You just got to get okay with this is what we're living in. And a lot of people are not okay with that. We understand. We get it. And we don't knock you for it, but this is what it is. It's time to start loving folks, family. We're just saying, leave people alone. You got neighbors and stuff smoke cannabis. Why are you calling the cops on them? Right? As long as they're, again, legally, medically, right? They got their stuff. Why are you worried? Okay, there are certain sound ordinances that are in towns. So folks have that good block party because you just don't like hip hop music or Latin music, right? Unless it's good old country boy rock and roll. You won't call the police. Why are you wasting the police time on that? Right? And of course, the other way around, we should be considerate of others. Look, come on now. We should be. Certain things we can't avoid, okay? If you decide to sit out on your patio, of which you were paying the taxes to the town for, you got certain reign over that thing. And as long as the thing is being done in decency and order, leave it alone, family. What does it have anything to do with you? Right? Leave people in peace. But we know when we're talking about kings, there are certain, like we said at the beginning of this episode, there are certain kings who dealt fairly with the people, right? We see Disney movies off this kind of thing. And then there are some, as the Bible tells you, who knew not Joseph. They don't care about none of that. You look at Pharaoh's dealings with the Israelites. Clearly Moses is telling them, let the people go so that they might go to the desert to worship God there. This is what the Bible tells you now. Pharaoh wouldn't let them go. So what you blame you blame the plagues on God or Pharaoh? Which one? That was the actions of Pharaoh against the already codified rules of life where you don't own people. You share in life's experiences with people. There's a difference. David killed his top military advisor. We'll use words like they use today. After he took his wife, while he's battling for his protection, his nation's protection. And on top of that, impregnated her. Gentlemen, it's time to have a conversation. You want to get freaky deaky with these women, we get it. But then you're going to leave them with the human bill? We're not regulating kids for those who start to get in their mind, please. We are not saying kids are like a bill from a from the light man, right? Or your phone bill. We're not saying it that way. We're talking about bill as an analogy. It takes money to raise these kids. For those who have like more than 5, God bless you. Because it again, on top of that, it's also it's a physical and emotional thing that you got to be there for all of them. Like I said, God bless y'all for that, man. We good for like 1 or 2 over here. I'm just saying. Oh man, having been the son of a foster mother and having been involved in children's life from forever, man. Yeah, we good for like 1 or 2 over here, man. That's me. Everybody is different, right? Y'all involved in that in this thing today, man. Be careful. Be careful. Okay? Because the man means to do exactly what the man do. You got certain things when you look up this thing, all you got to do is type in "No Kings Protest." The Florida sheriff over here from Fox News, we will kill you graveyard dead. Okay? 22 hours ago over here from it looks like Wall Street Journal, Proud Boys and other far right groups with violent talk on how to respond to this protest, family. You got to be careful. Again, this is the pirate keeping their stuff. We are descendants, family. This goes for all of us. We're descendants of those who were either brought here or who actually lived here on these lands. And also, the other part of the group was those who came here to these lands. We're part of that group. Okay? We're the friends thereof. This is how it is, family. We share ancestry with these family. Which side of the thing do you stand on? And this thing does not have to look violent. Clearly, you got people who want to be violent, but this thing don't have to be violent. We can choose to share down here, or we can choose not to. That's where we're going to stop today, family, right? We ain't going to, this is not about taking too much of your time with word breakdowns and all that kind of thing. This is just admonishment, y'all. This is around Father's Day. Fathers, be close to your kids, man. These are the things we got to teach. Self-defense, man. Y'all stop looking down on this idea of martial arts and all. You better teach it. These kids want to. They got the burden and the heart on the inside to stand up for something. You better be able to stand up. Listen, they gonna come to you now. They gonna tell the truth. That's the problem. We have a problem telling the truth. We're okay supporting people who do not tell and they twist the truth. They twist holy notions. It's time, family. It's time. We're not just saying this to be a rebel rouser and all this kinds of stuff. This is what it is, y'all. For such a time as this. The mistreatment of the dark, brown, and tan skin tone people groups. This also includes poor white folks, family. No more. No more. Right? So, hashtag no kings. That is, unless you're the type of king who cares about the people. Again, everybody, we like to play this game with the Republic and the Democratic. And listen, it all is dealing with the people. That's what the word breakdowns all mean. The thing works with the people. You can't be okay going to home improvement stores, right? This is the practice. A little, we'll say just a little while ago, just a couple years back, right? Where folks needed help at the home. And the joke was, they made it a joke. Hey, you could go down to this such and such store and pick up some Mexicans. That was the joke, family. So we're going to be okay doing that now. Hold on now. Hold on. Before we end here. You're going to be okay doing that. But now when your government come up talking all this mess, now they got to go. You've seen it happen in Florida. The base of the thing has always been the dark, brown, tan skin tone people doing the work out here, while another group of people sits back, hands folded, watching you work. And then when it comes time to pay them the money they are due, this is where all this mess comes out, because this deals in greed, family. But yet those who sit in the pew on Sunday Your Bible is telling you that the hireling is worth their wage. When you read the books that are not included in the group, don't know which one of y'all said it wasn't. Okay, we get again, we get the chief priests and scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees who are given the quote unquote guardianship over the law of God. However, it's the law of God you have been given guardianship over. And that's the part you're missing. The stuff in the Apocrypha, much of it, let's not play this game. Much of it is actually needed to be put into the Bible, not taken away from it. Show no partiality, family, to rulers, especially when their heart is not toward God. And it is not. There is a way in which you do a thing. There is a heart in which you deal with this information. However, no more, y'all. No more. That's wrong. Men, the way we deal with women, we got to clean it up. To say it frankly, we have twisted the truth of it. This is why last time we spoke, they are to be helped and also to help you. That's a directive coming from the maker. You need help, gentlemen. I need help. Shout out to you, honey. We need help. And when your heart follows after God, you recognize these things. The things of God, even for those who don't believe in God, the life, wholeness, godliness, love, respect that is in this earth, in this reality we live in, that people walk right by every day. You see them in stores every day, how they treat each other, it's sick. How they treat the little ones, it's sick. Because we have forgotten, we have put down that which is to love each other. That's where I'm going to stop today, family. Again, love and respect, man. Love and respect, okay? Y'all be careful out there in these protests because, again, no different than the Black Lives Matter one and all these ones, man. The man is out there to screw you, not help you, okay? So be careful out there, young and old, right? And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in a different view.